Hello. We're here at Wanderlust Sound with Jason Woolley.
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, indeed.
And welcome to Wanderlust Sound. It's my studio out in Shropshire. I do a lot of music production, sound production. The rooms here at Wanderlust are designed by Level Acoustic Design. Some excellent sounding rooms, acoustically treated, of course, soundproof, so we can work late into the night if we want to.
And that's Chris Walls, who is actually an old friend of mine, which is a strange coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, very talented guy. I hope Chris is watching.
Yeah.
We've got equipment-wise, we've got the SSL console, which is a 4000E. It's a vintage console. It's a 32-channel with all the usual SSL refinements. So we do all kinds of work with that. So the kind of things that we do here are music production, so band recordings, quite a bit of composing from here as well for different outlets. I also do some audio post, and people can come along and utilise the room if they want to finish any mixes or to check mixes. And of course we offer the analog summing service as well, where you can kind of run your mix through the console to add some of that SSL magic. I think something like 90% of the world's hit records were mixed on an SSL apparently. So there's availability for that as well.
What sort of price is it if I wanted to send you the tracks and you to run them through the desk?
Well, it all depends on exactly what your requirements are. But if it's just to run through the desk, I usually charge around about £40 per track. But obviously, if we're getting into progressive rock and it's the track lengths are quite long, then we'd have to renegotiate that. But the guideline for a normal pop track would be, that kind of money.
On the basis that you don't need to mess around with it, anything, and you're just running the tracks through as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Any editing, anything like that. I'm happy to take some guidance if you want certain EQ settings applied to the tracks, but essentially it runs through the console channels. It's optional whether you want the big Bus Compressor, which is that sort of legendary SSL sound.
Sure.
And then once we've taken it through and you've picked up those, the coloration that an SSL brings to the tracks, we then print it. That can be done on a variety of converters, even up to a kind of Prism mastering level converter, so you get a nice, clean, high resolution file returned to you.
Fantastic.
With a quick turnaround. So.
And you have the RED 3 as well. Compressor.
So we've got the RED 3, which is the legendary compressor as used by the Lord Alge brothers. This is the one with the input and output transformer. So some people like that coloration as well.
Sure.
I like them both. I do use them a lot in the work that I do. Sometimes it's a question of taste and what kind of track that you're working on. But usually it's a very, very little amount, but it just sort of adds that glue, brings things together.
And you're just tapping it maybe one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
1
the
dB,
actual gain reduction, is very, very, very subtle. It's more a case of gluing things together than actually kind of really blasting and bombarding the mix.
Sure.
There are some creative instances where we might use the compressor more aggressively, kind of to get that kind of big beat, sort of heavily compressed drum sound, which is possible. But normally, in a mixed scenario, people just want just a little subtle hint and coloration of the SSL brings. So.
And you offer full mixing services as well, I'd seen on your website,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, if you've got some music that you've tracked somewhere else and you've got the multi-track, maybe you might have recorded it yourself somewhere, maybe even in your bedroom, and you want to come into a room, the monitoring system here, we've got the ATC main speakers, which are soffit mounted. We've got a Gen X system as well, which has got a subwoofer on the back. And we've also got the radio, so you can check what your mix would sound like on the radio. So it's ideal for somebody that wants to come in. They've done some recording. They've got the bulk of the tracks recorded. Maybe they've got all of them recorded. We can then spread them across the console and add that extra refinement. And even if you don't want the console sound, it's possible to come in with a laptop with the music that you've recorded, plug into the system, and just utilise the acoustics of the room.
Yeah.
you know, the flat frequency response that we've got here, and you know, the different sets of speakers that you know, can you just double check your mix before it goes out and you release it to the world, knowing
check it
that,
on a professional monitoring system.
absolutely, that's what it is. There's professional quality stuff in order to refine your work and, you know, deliver the best possible music that you can do to your fans. And
what about engineers wanting to come and mix on the SSL? Is that something that you offer, or is that more of something where you'd need to know the person beforehand? Or
well, I think, you know, we are open to dry hire really, and normally, because I do most of the engineering here, I'll be on hand to troubleshoot. But we'd be looking, you know, if someone wanted to come in and mix on it, we'd be looking for people who've got experience or prior experience of similar consoles, or ideally an SSL. But certainly, you know, there would be instances where, and I have had, you know, where clients come in where they, you know a bit about the console and like to make some of those creative decisions themselves and get hands on. So, you know, certainly that's a possibility. An SSL console can be quite daunting if you've not come across on one of these large frame consoles before. It's very flexible and friendly, and you know, I'm a musician myself. I'm passionate about music, and you know, part of what we do here is to help people realise the best possible outcomes for their music, and you know, for them and for their fans, really. You know, so
fantastic. It seems like a great place to come if you need to use equipment such as this. You've also got a C24 for writing automation and things like that over there, haven't you? So
absolutely. Yeah, I do use a mouse, but as I always say, you can only really do one thing at a time with a mouse. And I like the control surface because you can really feed in, because those last little refinements in a mix can be make or break on things, and just to be able to kind of balance things and get the musical message over there, you know, is important. Plus the C24 is the currently the 5.1 controller in here, so I also do some audio posts. I've been doing sound for film for a few years now, and that's the main controller for the 5.1 system here, which again is the Genelec system. So you know, those clients that are interested and want to get the sound mixed in an acoustically treated place, particularly 5.1 and stereo, if they're going on to film festivals or it's going out, you know, on one of the various networks, then, you know, to come in and be able to, you know, engage with that side of things is been, you know, it's proven to be popular, you know. So
yeah, fantastic. Well, it's a great place. I've really enjoyed coming here. Thanks for letting me come. And
well, it's nice to see you, Dave. We'll have you back here again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Great. And we'll have to come over and see our place, and we should do some recording. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Great.
Nice one.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.